So, like, how did Lucci's heart taste? Was it, like, juicy? Was it heavy? It's only half a heart, too. Like, was it potent? I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering. Thank you to our final patrons, Citizen Lancelot, Praise the Sun, Strawbones, and Aaron. Now, before we hop into this breakdown / review of chapters 332 bars of Black Clover, please if you leave your own thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do a Patreon down below. You can support for as little as $1 a month to get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Now, let's hop into the review. What's up, guys? I got the pencil here, and here we are to review chapter 332 of Black Clover, which is known as Black Clover. I'm kidding, it's known as the final declaration. And this declaration, it's pretty darn final. But enough of that, let's hop right into the chapter itself. Actually, let's not hop into the chapter itself. I know I'm drawing the cover page, but I want to talk about it because there are some interesting details here that I just want to point out. One, I find it very interesting, and it's a cool detail that now Yuno, due to being double Grimored up, now has 2 Grimoire containers strapped to him, and one is higher than the other. I wonder which one is. I don't remember where his initial Grimoire placement was, but the fact that he has 2 belts for 2 Grimoires, I like that little detail there. Very, very neat. I appreciate that Tabata went out of their way to include that because, you know, makes sense. 2 Grimoires. He could just stuff them in one big Super Grimoire container, but he gives them both their own individual respect, though I do wonder why one is higher than the other. Maybe it's just convenience sake or something like that, but I wonder if that would play into anything about how Yuno feels about which respective kingdom his Grimoires are from. Another thing of note, Asta, I'm simultaneously underwhelmed by his redesign, yet at the same time I get it. It kind of fuses both aspects of his previous self, as in like way beginning, like early series Asta, and his post-time skip self in the Spade Kingdom arc. But at the same time, like, it feels slightly underwhelming. I'm not exactly sure what I wanted, but this one, I mean, it's fine. It's not a bad design at all. In fact, I do like the fact that, considering this is the end, it takes aspects of all of Asta, and that's pretty nice, pretty unique, and I appreciate that. Nice work, Tabata. I like how you cook. But still, I don't know. Same with Yuno. Like, the design, little underwhelming for a whole year time skip. You know, like the half a year time skip designs kind of hit more different than these ones. But regardless of that, and one more thing I want to note before I hop into the chapter itself is I'm interested as to why Asta's wearing a glove to cover his right arm for the most part. Maybe it's just to like make people more comfortable, but I figured he'd be like proud of that considering it symbolizes his connection with Lieb. But then again, Lieb does kind of just sit out on his shoulder now. So maybe that's it. And he's like, you know, I gotta cover this bad boy up so I don't accidentally disrupt everybody's magic. Who knows? Just a very interesting detail that I noticed about his redesign. However, enough of that. Let's hop right into the chapter itself. So we open up and we do get to see that Lucci, he just stay taking L's, bro. On screen, off screen, by Lucius, not by Lucius. Like, Lucci, he's just getting packed left, right, and center. Like, we literally open up and we see him just laid out, pieced up, like, quite literally pieced up. Like, there's a piece of him here, a piece of him there, a piece of him everywhere. Like, golly gee willikers, I get it. He was only at half power, considering half of his power went to the real world, but jeez, 7th level in the underworld, his own domain, and he got packed up. To be fair, though, it does make sense. It's implied here, especially by what the chapter goes on to show with what Lucius does, that Lucius did already eat half of his power anyway through his heart, and plus Lucius was already pretty strong beforehand, so it would make sense that bada bing, bada boom, Lucius would have the advantage in the room, because Lucci's really just not himself. Though it does go to show you that, hypothetically, a full power Lucci, something that now due to this I don't think we'll ever see, was actually strong enough to overwhelm Lucius, who does seem to have some sort of contract with some sort of underworld being outside of Meli. We know he's working with Meli, or Meli's working for him for some reason, but outside of that, whoever Lucius made a deal with, even with their power, he wasn't confident in taking on Lucci until his power was stripped in half. And you see that this whole claim of Lucci that sort of got devalued by the longer and longer his curb stomp went on, was that he did in fact have the greatest magical power. in the entire world, which is an interesting cliff to put the series at. Obviously, the cliff is raised now because we have like post time skip Asta and now Lucius, who's eaten Lucci's heart. But considering this was the limit of power before, pretty impressive. Unfortunately, we ain't gonna see him use that. However, we do get to see that with this whole pack, like, we really are smoking on that Lucci pack right now. And that boy Lucius went straight to the factory himself, walked in the front door and said, I need it straight off the conveyor belt, because he is ready to smoke that pack up as he draws out the heart. He makes a very interesting claim, which is a kind of common theme that I'm seeing across a lot of magical series now. He says, in this world, we are the ones with the most brilliant magic. We humans. And notably, like, it's seemingly a lot of beings within the underworld have magics that mirror human magic. Like, I'd say the only magics we haven't seen from underworld creatures are like dream magic and I think dark magic. But we've seen fire, we've seen ice. I don't think we've seen metal. But essentially, I don't think we've seen enough diversity in the underworld for Lucius to just boldly claim that, because even his own magic, time magic, is replicated. There's someone down there who has that, luckily the one he's partnered with. Gravity magic, yeah, like there's a whole ton of magic that the underworld does have access to, but maybe brilliant doesn't mean like diverse or strong or anything like that. Just the magic that shines the most, the magic that has the most unique uses behind it, is humans. And that does make sense. Lucci himself, to be fair though, he may have not had access to his full magic power because he wasn't fully there. But in terms of his usage of his magic, it wasn't very creative. And the whole concept of Grimoires does seem foreign to the underworld for the most part. Zagrid wanted one, but other than that, no other real underworld creature has expressed usage or interest in a Grimoire. And we know Grimoires are pretty much unique to humans and help them express their magic a lot. So maybe that's what Lucius means by the most brilliant in terms of humans. And then he takes a little chomp and we cut back to the Fairy Kingdom. Not the Fairy Kingdom. Where am I? We cut back to the Clover Kingdom. A year and 3 months after the Spade Kingdom War. So it was a war arc. Why were people calling it a rescue? I get why people were calling it a rescue arc, because they were rescuing Yami and William. Yes, don't get on my case. I'm kidding. But regardless, we see that a year and 3 months after the Spade Kingdom War, a pretty long time, only now is Asta being recognized for all the work he did there. And notably, there is excuses for that that's propped up within the manga, and I get it. Gotta have a time skip, especially considering this is like the final ending arc. There's nowhere else to go but here, so might as well give our characters one last great power boost. Though interesting that it took him this long. However, what I do like in this shot is that everyone from Asta's life, for the most part, that has supported him and cared for him is here in one way, shape, or form. Like, you see all the Black Bulls on the left side. You see the entire church where he came from came to support him. You see all the captains. And you see Lee just propped up on his shoulder. Still, can't take Leap seriously in that tiny form. Like, I don't know. It's just something that I don't think will ever happen. I think I just need to see him at regular size. Though I get it. It would be a lot more convenient or inconvenient, and he would take up a lot more panel space if he was at full size all the time. So Chibi Leap is a lot easier to integrate and have him constantly be there. Though, I don't know, just seeing Asta with this serious shading behind him, the cross hatching and everything, you just see Leap just, yeah, we vibing. Like, I guess we are vibing, Leap, but that's about it. However, we do get to see that Asta is now being granted the title of Senior Magic Knight, First Class. And as we know, not really what he deserves after all he did last war. Like, straight up, you remove Asta from half the battles in the last war and they literally all die. Like, straight up, there's no way, shape, or form that could have won that war without Asta. Meanwhile, you could sub out some of the captains and I don't know. I don't think much would have gone that different looking at you, Fugelion. But I get it. The manga goes out of its way to really explain how, he may have done some good work, but he's still got a demon on his shoulder, if you know what I'm saying. Quite literally. Like, Leave is literally just posted up there. And obviously, there's so much stigma around that species that I'm not shocked that the general class and group of the Clover Kingdom, no matter how much Asta did for him, is like, sorry, buddy, you're looking at like centuries, if not millennia of prejudice. We can't rock with that. But what we can rock with is the fact that the like button is free. So it's the subscribe button, if you didn't know that. But the thing is, we do get to see that this is mainly so late and so little because of I can't say his name to save my life. Dalmatio's disappearance, because certain something happened to him. I wonder what could have, and I wonder who could have done it to him. But due to that, they had to stall Asta's trial because he was still on trial. Remember, at the like the Spade Kingdom arc is so long and has so much stuff in it. I'm not even surprised that even I momentarily forgot about this when I first read the chapter. But yeah, the whole reason Asta even went out to the Spade Kingdom was like try and prove his innocence and stuff like that. Not even that, not even the Spade Kingdom. That he went to the Heart Kingdom for that, I'm pretty sure, at first. And then the Spade Kingdom, it just ended up happening. So yeah, there was a whole trial that Asta needed to prove himself for. And obviously, even if he did prove himself, people prejudice not gonna go away. But we do get to see that Fugelion, I don't want to call him the most useless. He's not. He's simply not. Like, I can't look William directly in the face and be like, yeah, Fugelion's the most useless of the captains. Most disappointing of the captains. Nah, if William's that too. It's about, okay, out of all the things that's about cooked up, William, you gotta throw him back in the pot, bro. Like, just throw him back in the pot, let him simmer a little bit more, let him get a nice, even roast on all sides, and then maybe he could be of some value. Because at this point, I don't know, man. He's just lacking. Like, all he has is an ugly face scar, nothing to show for it. So please, do me the honest favor. Throw him back in the pot, let him simmer up a little bit more. It's been a year and 3 months, I better see some gains. However, we do get to see that the captains is what really, like, turns Asta's frown upside down. Like, the fact that this group of people that once discriminated against them, especially people like Nozel and even other higher rank captains, not even higher rank, but other captains, those who used to like despise him, look down on him, disrespect him, now hold him in high regard. Like, the strongest people in the kingdom, outside of like certain exceptions like Asta, are now like, yeah, you that dude, bro. You the one. And I think that's great, right? Because even if you can't give Asta a macro victory, like getting the entire kingdom to side with him, kind of like what happened with Naruto at the end of the Pain arc, you can at least give him a micro victory. Something like this where he is accepted by a group of people that once had biased against him, but now no longer. I think that's cool. I think that's nice. I think it's a good way to leave like a little bit of world development left, right? Because we're in the final arc, but we aren't the final chapter. So if Asta kind of got everything here, it would leave little for after he defeats Lucius. So Tabata made a good choice. He cooking right. And we do get to see that bias, obviously. Yuno has become a Grand Magic Knight. And reasonably, even Fugelion is like, yo, no lies. No capping. You really should have gotten at least, and he doesn't say at least, but he should have been granted an equal title. But obviously the biases hold him back. And we see that while Asta's like, yeah, that boy may be above me in rank, but he knows he would be knocked down a few ranks if he were to ever fight me. Says, alright, neither of us are Wizard King yet. You ain't gonna do it. However, we do get to see that due to this, Yuno now is the newest, youngest Grand Magic Knight. And, you know, that's fine. I'm very interested, like, it's being glossed over because Yuno obviously isn't the main character, but I want to know what the rest of the Clover Kingdom, if they know about it, thinks about his dual inheritance. Like, once again, Yuno, while he had, like, noble tier magic and stuff like that, he was a nobody. And it suddenly comes out that he's the prince of another kingdom. Like, maybe it wouldn't mean anything, because no one was told. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like that'd be a very interesting point to discuss for Yuno's development. And it would explain why he's not here. Like, maybe he's out considering something about his past and his future and stuff like that now that he knows the truth. Because if people like the other church people could come and show up, and all the captains could show up, but Yuno couldn't, come on now. However, we do get to see that these people don't know where Julius is. And I'll admit, that's a little bit sussy. Like, y'all really, like, he's been gone for a year and 3 months at this point, and none of y'all are suspicious. Like, did y'all even find Amanchio's body, or did Lucius take that? Like, I don't know. Like, Julius was established to have gone out on, like, little trips disguising as other people. Yeah. But a year and 3 months, and no one's even slightly worried. Like, everyone's in good spirits. I guess you can't, like, freak out over it. But still, seems a little bit crazy that no one's taking this all that seriously. But we do get to see that while Asta is a senior magic knight and you is a grand magic knight, the next candidates for Wizard King are around 3, which are Fugalian, Merliona, and Nozel. Notably, in terms of like overall charisma, I think Fugalian would be the best leader, though I don't think he has the strength to really back that up. At least just like, especially for being in possession of a spirit, I feel like he just hasn't done enough. Meanwhile, I think overall, like, knowledge, composure, and grace, I think Nozel would fit. But then in terms of just, like, raw power, even though we haven't seen Merliona do much with her incarnate form, I think she would be the best. So I think a fusion of all 3 would be great. However, we do see that all 3 of them did decline the offer to become Wizard King, which makes sense, because obviously they're looking at the fight that happened a year and 3 months ago, and they're like, yeah, we're all fodder. Can't really become Wizard King yet, which is very interesting. And that really puts it up there that Asta should be Wizard King right now. Like, if Julius is gone and they're looking for it. But then again, once again, the biases. But in terms of, like, raw fighting strength, one of these characters beat Lucci on their own. And it wasn't Fugi. So, I don't know. However, we do get to see that a year and 3 months later, there is, like, slow, gradual return to peace and normality. And we see that apparently there are other underworld activities happening all across the land. And that's why Yuno and some of the Black Bulls are just zoom gone. However, like, who did they send? Because let me look back. Yami's here. Asta's here. Nacht is there. Okay, so, like, Nacht could probably handle it. Cause let's see. That's a Noel. But you may have wanted to put Vanessa on there, though. Yeah, I also want to put Sekre on there. I don't know. And then, wait, I can't tell. Is that Langris? Maybe you, like, those are, like, who went there? Nacht, Gray, Henry, Charmy, Luck, and Magna? You may want a bit more firepower, especially if you're dealing with underworld activities, but who knows? However, I love how Yami walks up and is like, "Hey, people, thanks for showing up for my son. I'm a proud father right now." And Jackson's response is, "I'm gonna beat him. I promise." "No, you won't, Jack. I'm sorry. You are the furthest thing from even a side character." No, I'm kidding. But we see that we're still all of nowhere with this whole Charlotte, however you say it, and Yami relationship, mainly because Charlotte is extremely nervous. However, the good thing is that Langris wastes no time and is like, "Huh? You're wondering why she's acting weird? You idiot. She literally told you she loved you a year ago. No one told you, like, that." The year and 3 months, like, the thing is, barely anyone has changed at all. And there's just so, like, it's like stuff that should have been said or stuff that should have been taken more seriously, like the absence of the Wizard King, well, this isn't necessarily too serious, but Yami's hypothetical relationship with Charlotte. No one told Yami in a year and 3 months that Charlotte confessed him with all the witnesses that were there. I feel like Noelle would have at least mentioned it. Like, why is it Langris a year and 3 months later that finally comes up and says it? However, we do get to see that Yami, naturally, like any true man, knows the like button is free, and so the subscribe button. But also that when you need to have deep introspective and retrospective thought, you can't have it out in the open with witnesses. You gotta go to the thinking man's throne. He goes to take a dump. And we see that Yami is essentially calculating that, like, not calculating, he's just trying to figure out what the heck is going on with, like, why Charlotte is acting so, like, allergic or apprehensive towards him if she likes him. Like, well, what's the point of all that? But similarly enough, Yami, despite being a lost protagonist and probably having quite a number of women falling after him, just doesn't know what that's like. Understandable. He's a lost protagonist. Interesting how Sekirei just shapeshifted. Like, let me see. Do you even see it? Does she? Wait, I want to see, because she's standing there. When does she appear on his head? Yeah, okay. I don't think we see it. She just goes from not being on his head to being on his head. Nope. Interesting. I guess she's just so used to that form. She's so used to being Nero that's like, might as well just perch. However, we get to see that. Oh, okay. This is where we get to the other part of the chapter. And we cut over to Noelle and Mimosa. And, like, everyone and their mother knows Mimosa's not going to get it. Like, you can just... It's like the Charlotte thing. It's about it. You don't need to cook this no more, dog. You can just stop wasting our time. And just let it rock. And we do get to see that Nero, who does love messing with Asta, and anyone interested in him is like, hey, fun fact, did you know that he's going to confess his love? And they immediately freak out. And, you know, it's cliche. It's sterile. It's nothing new. But I'm cliche, sterile, and nothing new. So I'm going to let it slide. And I love how Nero, despite keeping an absolute flat face, just finds this all entertaining. Like, just completely amused at the actions of these two. Because who wouldn't be? And you do get to see that Asta, he's stepping up. He's stepping up to the plate one last time. He's gonna give it one last home run swing. He's like, hey, yo. Wow, is he as tall as her? Yeah, he's as tall as her now. So he's not as short. It's so hard to tell. But he's not that short. I just realized that. But he's like, hey, yo, Sister Lily, please, I need you to give me the... No, okay. But he asked her to marry him once again. And Asta straight up says, like, yo, alright, 18, I'm legal now. This is it. It's the last time. Last offer on the table. Wife of the future Wizard King. Yay or nay? And I know there are many a man watching this video and not watching this video who will know what Asta experiences on the very next page. You may feel a similar sense of pain, agony, loneliness, and no, keep that darn window closed. Because Cecily does declare, thank you, Asta. Well, being the sugar mama to the Wizard King does sound like a great deal. You are like a brother to me. And, like, you know, Asta's a better man than me. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But, like, you know, if I'm Asta, until the end of this chapter, who gonna stop? No, I'm kidding. But we do get to see, and, like, you can see a piece of Asta die inside. Like, there's nothing. Like, he goes from like confident, determined, blushing, like he's in the moment, right? He's happy, he's ready to experience it. He's put it all on the table one last time. He feels like he's done enough, right? Like he literally sacrificed his life, sacrificed everything, done everything, and he feels like this is the final chance. Every condition has been met. And then he got brother zoned. Like I cannot describe that look of pure, like, Tabata is a great artist. I know in terms of like Shonen Jump, he does get slept on just because there are other demons in this darn manga group. Like, looking at you, Horikoshi, you a monster. But like the emotion that is captured in Asta's face when she says you're like family to me, my dashing cute little brother. It's like, it's pure pain. And you can see that he's like, he takes it in, he lets that piece of himself die, and he's like, you know, man, I wish I was in Seven Deadly Sins right now. I really wish. And I wish my name was Lancelot. But regardless of that, I knew it, you know, I just couldn't give up. I do know that people can't always change the way they feel. So, please watch over this unchanging vow of mine. I will become the Wizard King. And I love, like, he does this big, broad smile and a declaration. He asks us really to do this for him. But you can still see the pain in his eyes. Like, the bags. Like, it's already like he's lost sleep over her words. And to be fair, the brothers don't hit different. I ain't gonna lie to you. But we do get to see that sister is like, yo, you know what, Asta, you really are that guy. I know you'll be able to do it. And I love how all this perfect, beautiful moment is interrupted by someone strolling right on up. Let me get it. Something like this. Congratulations, you've arrived. This is your final destination. And can I say, like, did I mention at the beginning of the chapter? You won't really, I mean, you see it, but darn, Lucius is drippy, like straight up. That man, he's just the slight bit saucy. Like, he's got the fur coat on the fur coat. Over the fur coat, like, he is really rocking it. He's really rocking it. I'm interested to see his color design. I'm not gonna lie, very interested to see that. But I do love just the ominous nature with, or not the ominous nature, but the where this chapter ends off. Like, so many questions to what this is your final destination means, right? Like, is this the end of Asta's journey? Is this the end of his character arc? Is this what is this the end to? Is it the end of his life? And if so, does Lucius really wait a year and a half to end it, bro? Not a year and a half, a year and a quarter to end it, bro? Like, you could have done this months ago. No, but very, very intriguing. Very interesting spot to end on. So, for a returning chapter after a 3-month break, pretty darn solid. There are some things, I will admit, I feel like the time skip is not unnecessary, isn't the word, really. But I think I have the same issues with this time skip that I had with the last Black Clover time skip, where it feels like nothing much has changed, like design wise, character wise. Like, typically across a time skip, you do a lot, or at least a good time skip, because there are a lot of animes with some time skips, but like, even I'd say the 2-year time skip in Shippuden does a lot more than what this time skip has done so far. And I think Shippuden's time skip is like middle tier around that at best. But overall, still a solid 8 out of 10 chapter. Obviously, I love the opening. I love seeing Lucci get put in his place by Lucius. And then the whole establishment of, like, that's the thing, it's not even a new status quo, but the re-establishment of the status quo is a solid way to fill up the chunk of the chapter. Finally getting Asta to move on and open his heart to new people, because the one person whose heart he wanted all this time thinks of him as a little brother. It'd be like that sometimes. And obviously Lucius coming in at the very end. I do think this chapter is very front-loaded and back-loaded. While I do find the intrigue in the middle of the chapter fine, it's nothing extraordinary. The big points really come from the beginning of the end, and I'm super excited for next chapter. However, those are my thoughts. Please tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that little notification bell so you miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.